What's up, friends? Just finished up a face scan and just coming down from that a little bit. Very exciting, and figured this would be a good chance for me to share a little bit of Bode Akuna headcanon from my character in Jedi Survivor. I've had a lot of Star Wars fans and gamers in general ask some pretty great questions about Bode and his motivations and why he does some of the things he does, and so I figured I'd just share a little bit of some of the behind the scenes work that I do for a character like Bode. And let me say right off the bat, I'm gonna say some stuff, and I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Booyah. But I don't pretend to be like a Star Wars academic. So if you want to come at me with how my headcanon is factually inaccurate, I mean, you're welcome to do so. It's not going to bother me, but that's not why I do it, right? I create these backstories because it gives me an emotional hook, so that Bode's emotional journey is honest for me. And I should also say, anything I say now, this isn't on any of the writers or anyone else on the Survivor team. This is all just my broken, dumb brain. So, let's talk today about Ghost Star. And if you haven't played Survivor yet, you better get the heck on out of here, because I'm about to spoil all kinds of stuff. 3, 2, go on, get. Okay, if you're still here, that's on you. So, the song Ghost Star was introduced by one of the writers, Danny, Mad Genius Danny, pretty late in the sequence of things, and then brought to beautiful life by Tajane, who plays Kata and is ridiculously talented. I'm very jealous. So, Danny had asked me in a session, would you feel comfortable singing a song as Bode? I don't sing, which may have become quite apparent if you played the game. But any chance for me to show and share more of who Bode is, stuff that you don't get to see in all the missions, I'm grateful for. So I was like, hell yeah. And I got this song titled Ghost Star. So the first thing I did was look up Ghost Star, specifically looking for anything revolving around astronomy. Well, and I don't know if this was Danny's thought from the get-go. I have never talked to him about it. But in my research, I found that there is a theory being postulated that, when you're looking up at the night sky and you see the sky just covered in stars, that there's actually a lot of astral bodies you're not seeing. Among them being ghost stars, which are stars with dark matter cores. So dark matter has gravity, right? But never undergoes nuclear fission the way a normal star does, and therefore emits no light. So there are stars out there with tremendous gravity that are essentially invisible to the naked eye. And I thought that was really beautiful and poetic in a way. And then I started thinking about Bode, and a question that arises a lot, which is, why does Bode not get found out by Cal or Seer or Cordova, these incredibly powerful Jedi? And that's a really good question. And it made me wonder if perhaps there is a rare contingent of individuals who have the ability to tap into the Force, but don't emit a Force resonance like most people do, which is how a Jedi is able to tell that someone else is able to manipulate the Force. I mean, Emperor Palpatine is a perfect example of an incredibly powerful Force user who is, I mean, literally standing right in front of Master Yoda and all the masters on the Jedi Council, and they never know. So maybe this is a rare trait that they share, and that got me thinking. That would probably be something that you'd pick up on very early at the Jedi Academy as a youngling. And one of the things that Bode shares with Cal is that before Order 66, he worked in intelligence. It would be a very powerful asset to be able to take an operative and insert them into situations where they can watch over Force users without that target knowing that he can manipulate the Force. Where would that be useful? Intelligence gathering, obviously, but also the Jedi equivalent of internal affairs. Jedi are incredibly powerful, and power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And if anyone's seen the Clone Wars, you know that there are very powerful Jedi that are not good. Palm Krell being a great example. I want to punch him repeatedly. So perhaps operatives like Bode were sent to gather intel and make sure that the Jedi out there were doing what they're supposed to be doing. One example, right? And perhaps his operative name was Ghost Star. Order 66 happens. All hell breaks loose. Everything that Bode has known burns to ash. And he's on the run. And somewhere in his journey, he meets a wonderful woman named Tayala. When you have to run and hide and constantly change locations for fear of being found, that's not something you can do with a significant other and not let them know what you're doing and why. So I'm sure Bode shares his past with Tayala. And then, a while later, Kata is born. Anytime Bode gets an inkling that Imperial intelligence has been sniffing around, or forbid, an Inquisitor makes their presence known anywhere nearby, I think Bode leaves his family behind, travels to distant parts of the galaxy, and very subtly makes himself known so that he attracts the attention of intelligence or the Inquisitors and draws that focus away from his family. And Kata's so young and doesn't understand why her father has to leave for weeks or months at a time. And so Tayala sings her a lullaby called Ghost Star, which brings Kata comfort while she waits for her father to come home, and is also for Tayala perhaps a silent prayer that her husband comes back safely. And they survive like this, constantly moving, constantly on the run. And then one day, Bode is out with Kata. They're coming home, and as they're getting closer to the house, he hears Tayala singing Ghost Star. which is a song she never sings if he's home. And he knows that something's gone terribly, terribly wrong. And he flees with Kata. And the Inquisitor that was waiting for him at home, in their anger, strikes down Tyala, knowing that somehow she gave them away. So, a lot of things happen. Bode makes some very difficult, very terrible choices in the pursuit of keeping Kata safe. And now sings Ghost Star as a way to make sure that Kata's memories of her mother stay as fresh as they can. And just because it brings him comfort. But it also is a poignant reminder of a terrible, terrible day, and the fact that he left his wife behind, and that his wife paid the price for Bode being who he is. And I think in his time as a dog for the Empire, Bode has done some terrible, terrible things. I think he's often sent to hunt down Jedi that are in hiding, especially if it seems like they're trying to rally up resistance, because he can come in and his target will never see him coming. I think he's an assassin. And I think every time he does it, a little piece of Bode chips off. And I think Bode hates himself for it. And I think a lot of times, especially if it's a mission where he's gotten to know his target to any degree, that makes it that much harder to do what he knows he has to do. And in those moments, he uses Ghost Star as his anchor. He sings it to himself when he's alone, as a way to remind himself of why he's doing the terrible things he's doing, that there is a greater purpose, which is making sure that his daughter stays safe, and that Tyala's sacrifice is never in vain. And then he meets Cal. And I think finds the brother he never had, and in the crew of the Mantis, the family he's lost. A family that would allow Kata to live a normal life. And he really struggles with what to do, and tries desperately to make it work. And when it becomes clear that Cal is going to share the information on Tanalorr and turn it into essentially an access point, Bode is devastated, because the Empire has already found Cal. Cal just doesn't know it yet. And if they found him now, they'll definitely find them again if this turns into essentially a way station. And Bode makes an impossible choice, and he tries to use Ghost Star the way it's always worked in the past to kind of remind him of what's important. And I think it fails him. And I think it breaks him.